Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Chef Vic Cuisine. Today we are making a Boston clam chowder. Now what else can I say about this amazing chowder? There are so many elevated ingredients that come together beautifully in this dish, and I cannot wait for you all to try this at home. So let's get started. Alright, so to get this recipe started, we're going to first prepare our bacon. In particular, for this recipe, we're going to need 3 slices of bacon. We're going to place them in a large saucepan, and we just want to cook the bacon until it's crispy and all the fat has rendered. And then you want to remove the bacon from the pan and set it aside on a paper towel lined plate. You can use this rendered bacon fat to saute the vegetables, but in this recipe I'm going to use butter. But if you want to add a rich smoky flavor, substitute the butter for this rendered bacon fat. We're also going to use 1 pound's worth of Yukon Gold potatoes that we're going to first peel and then finally dice. Now in a medium-sized sauce pot, we want to add 24 ounces of clam juice, 1 bay leaf, and a large pinch of salt, in addition to our diced potatoes. We want to bring this to a boil and then reduce the heat to medium-low, or 249 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees Celsius. We're going to cover the pot and allow this to cook for 10 minutes. And after that, we want to remove it from the heat and set it aside for now. And while that pot's cooking, let's prepare the rest of our vegetables. Here we're going to use 1 leek that we're going to remove the leaves first, and then we're going to chop it into fine pieces along the base. And what I like to do to make sure that the leek is properly cleaned is transfer these bite-sized pieces into a fine mesh sieve and run it under cold water. We're also going to use 1 large shallot for this recipe, first removing the outer peel and then taking a sharp knife and dicing it into fine bite-sized pieces. Finally, we need 2 stalks of celery that we're going to first finely chop along the length of the celery. And then if you want it really small, you want to double back with your knife and chop that up again. We're also going to use 3 garlic cloves that we want to finely mince. I like using a garlic press to make this process really quick, but feel free to use a sharp knife to do the job as well. And finally, and most importantly, we want 6 to 6.5 ounces worth of canned minced clams that we want to drain with the juices reserved. If possible, you do want to start with fresh clams, preferably little neck or cherry stone clams for the best flavor. But if you don't have fresh clams nearby, canned minced clams is a great substitute. Okay, so now in a large pot, we want to melt 1/4 cup's worth of unsalted butter over medium heat, or 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. And then we want to add in our diced shallots, the diced leeks, the garlic, the celery, as well as 2 bay leaves. We want to saute this mix for 6 minutes or until the vegetables are tender. Now at this stage, we want to dice our cooked bacon and add it to the pot as well. Give the pot another quick mix to ensure that all the bacon is well dispersed. And then we want to add in 1/4 cup's worth of all-purpose flour. Constantly whisking this to allow all the flour to cook in with the rest of the ingredients for about 2 minutes. And once that flour has had time to cook, we want to add in first the reserved juices from our canned clams, followed up with the diced potatoes, as well as our bottled clam juice mix from earlier in the recipe, the minced clams themselves, as well as 1 1/4 cups worth of heavy cream, and 1 teaspoon of hot sauce. Stir all these ingredients together until they're well combined, and allow this to simmer over low heat for 10 minutes to ensure that we infuse all of these flavors together, stirring the pot often. After it's had time to simmer, we want to season this with salt and black pepper to your own personal taste, and with that, it's ready to be served and enjoyed. And just like that, you've made a Boston clam chowder right at home. As you can see, it's a really easy dish to make. All you really need to do is chop up some vegetables and let the pot cook itself. Alternatively, if you wanted to make a Manhattan clam chowder, you could use tomato sauce as the base instead of using heavy cream as we did in this recipe. But whenever you do try this recipe at home, be sure to tag me at Chef Vic Cuisine or hashtag Chef Vic Cuisine so I can see your great takes on this dish. As always, this recipe and many more can be found in my cookbook, Chef Vic Cuisine Volume 3, Upgrading Your Inner Chef. And that's available on Amazon, and I'll be sure to leave the link to that in my description box. And feel free to click the pop-up on your screen for more information on that as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you did, make sure you smash that like button for me. It's one of the best ways to support this channel. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Victor, and welcome to Chef Vic Cuisine. It's my goal to create new recipes for you each and every week that you can make at home for yourself, your family, or your friends. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you click that subscribe button too. And sharing is caring, so if you enjoyed this recipe and think someone else will too, feel free to share this recipe with all your family and friends. And stay tuned for next week where I show you how to make French fries the waffle style. Something that a lot of people don't realize that they can make at home. And trust me, these taste just as good as any fast food place you can find. Well, thank you all again so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. By subscribing to this channel, you'll see more recipes just like this one. You can always check out more recipes on my page now. YouTube thinks you'll like this one, so let's see if they're right. And I'll catch you next time on another episode of Chef Vic Cuisine. And until then, peace.